Here we go. Hey everybody, what's going on? KSA Kris here, coming to you for the Real Estate Blitz. Have a special guest, if you all haven't noticed, and here today to talk about property management. Now, if you saw the post I put up yesterday, it's absolutely important that you pay attention if you're thinking about buying a property and holding a property and renting a property. And you know, it simply comes down to, and there's multiple needs. I have this house and I'm moving, but I think I should rent it. I want to buy a house. I want to make some passive, income over time because I read it was a really good idea. Here's the thing: do you want to be the person that plunges toilets? That's my question. It's a question.
Do you want the midnight call? The toilet is overflowing.
The toilet's overflowing, or the heater went out. Do you want to be that person? And there's a lot of people that will manage their own properties, and good for you. Some people have the energy. I have a buddy of mine. He owns 10 properties and he manages them all himself. But it's turned into a full-time. He cuts the lawn.
His full-time job?
It's his full-time job now.
That's it.
and so here's the thing: could you do it? Yes. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because why? Property managers may not care about the property as much as you do because it's your money that you put into it, right? That's a could. Keyword was could, and they charge money.
We do.
They charge money.
Sorry.
It's part of it. They're going to charge money. Some of them are expensive. Are you expensive?
8% per month. The usual's kind of around
it's free
9,
money.
10. Yeah,
it's free money.
It's write-off.
Yeah, it's a write-off. So, some of them are expensive. Like, well, they're going to charge me 10% every month. Yes, you're going to be out of pocket $100.
For no headaches.
For no headaches. You're just receiving money.
Yeah.
Just money coming down. And I think that's what's important. So we're going to talk a little bit about that if you're good with it.
Yeah.
And, I want to talk about, so I have my personal beliefs. Me personally, I would never want to manage any of my own properties. Now, first off, introduce yourself.
Lauren, Village Property Management Incorporated here in Bonsall, Fallbrook, and the surrounding areas. Let's see, Village Property Management created back in 2008 when stuff sort of hit the fan, so to speak. And we were trying to help those who were underwater with their homes. And hold them at least long enough in order for that equity to come back and then sell them. And some did, and many got kind of addicted to that income rolling in every month and decided, heck, I'm going to go buy another one, and continued from there. And so the property management just kind of continued. But that's how Village Property Management was created. Back in 08, yeah, just to help real estate clients.
So real quick, if you're watching this and you're like, I don't understand. Okay, buy and hold properties. You basically purchase a property. Give you a really fast rundown. You purchase a property with the intent to rent that property for 3 things. There we go. 3 things. Cash flow, which means money that you make every month, eventually, passively, depending on how you purchase the home. Yep. You're going to be looking at it for taxes, ghost taxes, so the depreciation of that home. And then you're going to be looking at the trifecta is the appreciation. So over time, that property year to year should be appreciating 3% or more. In San Diego, it could be like 16, 18% every year. But you're looking at this for a long-term run. Usually, typically 5 years. 5 years is really where you want to be.
It's really becoming a good retirement plan too.
It's a fantastic
a lot of people are
plan.
seeing what's happening out there, investing your money in stocks, or seeing what the government kind of allows to happen to their money, and the real estate is something tangible that you can keep your hands on.
It's an asset.
And it's kind of becoming the future retirement plan
I think it's
for our
fantastic.
Generation, and others. The baby boomers are like, I'm not just going to sell my property and go on to the next. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to rent it. I'm going to buy my retirement home. Maybe I'll buy another small little something. And invest it into it as well. So
that's right.
It's becoming quite the retirement.
I think it's fantastic, and I mean, I think I'll probably talk about something like that in a future episode because I'm a big fan, and we have a lot of clients that are coming to us right now, buying 5-plexes, 10-plexes, mobile home parks, all sorts of stuff, because it is such a fantastic investment. But I want to talk about property management a little bit. So we talked. Usually, I only talk to people maybe 5-10 minutes before we actually jump on here and do a video. We talked for about a little over a half hour, and actually longer than that because you showed up early.
Yes, I'm always early.
Yeah, so
I might wait on you, but you won't wait on me.
And we just sort of got to talking and chatting about a lot of different things, and this is my opinion. There are a lot of just absolute garbage property managers, just hot garbage, not even sort of bad, like, but awful. And I think the industry can be extremely shady, and that's why a lot of the time the big question should be, how do I find a good property manager? So I want to talk a little bit about that. How does somebody find a good property manager? And what should a property manager be doing for you? Because I just said that before we started, two things. They're expensive, so I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about, they aren't as interested in my property as me. And then we'll talk a little bit about, how to find a good person. So in your opinion, I hear it all the time, and I have heard it. Oh, property manager, they're expensive. Now, I have my, I look to annihilate that objection immediately. But what are your views on, the worth of a property manager as opposed to somebody managing it themselves?
They're never as expensive as an eviction's going to be, and they're never as expensive as damage to the home or property is going to be.
That's the truth.
Hands down. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. I have so many clients come to me with their nightmare stories of doing it, going it alone. Sometimes it's fine, but everyone, especially the ones who've had 5, 6 tenants in and out of the home or the property, they have at least that one story.
How about even finding the tenants, getting rid of the tenants?
All of it.
I mean, there's so much that's involved.
The tenant screening. And I'm happy to always give my wisdom for free and say, have at it. I wish you the best of luck. Go it alone. But the tenant screening, you just have to do the screening. And you kind of, with me as a property manager, doing it so much, you get a feel for the little pauses in the phone conversations
it's a profession,
with a previous landlord. Yeah, all of it, that you just hear the glitches or the story doesn't make sense or go out. And with me, I let my clients know when I'm screening a tenant. We go down every little avenue, sort of, and we'll see. We'll check their income, we'll check their employment, we'll talk to their employer or their manager. We will go ahead, and if everything makes sense there, great, no further. We will go ahead and see where they have been living previously. Maybe they own the home, so we'll check that ownership on title with a pull. And I love the ones that are, we lived in this home for 5 years, and then we sold it, and now we've been renting, and you go and pull up the title, and it's John Smith, and he's owned that home for the last 20 years, and it's just, certain things like that your average homeowner wouldn't have access to or be able to do.
Are you guys listening to this?
Yeah, scary.
Do you hear what's going on here? It's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if you've watched other videos of mine, past videos, I've said it over and over and over. You can choose to do certain things, but when somebody does this as a full-time job, that's a profession. It's a profession. And here it is, you have a professional. I brought in a professional because I wanted somebody to sit here and talk about this. Just to get somebody in the property is work. To keep somebody, and people are going to leave, bringing other people in, making sure that you're not losing money throughout the process, making sure that it's not getting destroyed, making sure the rents are collected, making sure that they're dealing with, because there's going to be challenges. This breaks, that breaks, I have a problem, this is a problem. Dealing with the problems, dealing with the headaches, dealing.
Yeah, it's
rent
all people.
rolls, money, all of it. I mean, it's
it's bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping.
Yeah, it's a whole other side of bookkeeping. I mean, are you good with taxes? Are you good with bookkeeping? Are you good with balancing your own checkbook? Because if you can't, and don't enjoy balancing your own every month, that investment property is a whole nother bank account that you need to reconcile every month.
Yep, agreed. So we talked about expensive. Here's what I think. The reason why you're going to pay somebody is because they're doing a ton of work. And, typically, I know everybody I've talked to, they usually do it at about 10%. Sometimes you'll see people go all the way down to 6%, depending on portfolio and what they're doing. I personally think that's cheap. So, have you ever, anybody see the triangle? Good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick two. So, if I want it good and fast, it ain't going to be cheap. And if I want it cheap and good, it's not going to be fast. You see what I mean? So, in my opinion, whenever I run into somebody that's a cheap real estate agent, they're a cheap property manager, they're a cheap tile guy.
Yeah.
Why?
Why now?
Yeah, so it's somewhere in the middle, maybe even expensive, and it's sort of like the best way I could put it. Go to Walmart. you go to, you know why you go to Walmart. You go to Walmart because it's cheap and it's going to break.
Yeah.
Right? That's why
then
people
you get to
go
go and get a new one.
You just go get a new one, right? Okay, if you want something that's not going to be cheap and break and maybe last a little longer, you go to Target.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want something that's high quality, that's going to last for a while, you go to Nordstrom's, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Some people are Nordstrom's, different quality. Some people are Walmart. Stay away from, look, I'm sorry, if you're Walmart and you're listening to this, I'm not bashing your company, okay?
No.
I'm just saying, I'm telling the truth. You're cheap and stuff breaks. And that's fine. I'm good with it. I buy stuff at Walmart. I'm saying if you're looking for a professional in real estate, you may not want to go with the cheapest solution. Somewhere in between is always good and above. So that's my opinion. That's kind of where you're at. You're somewhere in between, right?
Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to keep it reasonable, but definitely professional.
I think it's extremely reasonable. You said 8%, right?
8%.
8%, extremely reasonable.
But we offer two different things, too. We offer ongoing property management, and we offer tenant placement. So that's kind of interesting for some of our more local homeowners.
Can you talk about that
or hands-on homeowners, maybe retired. A lot of my tenant placement clients are the local retired. That's what they do because they realize it is a full-time job. But I can go in, I'll do the showing, the advertising, the background screening, the credit checks. I do full reviews on everyone who applies for their home. And I send them a nice email review that they can hash through. They can see.
And then they basically manage their own property.
And then I do the contracts. We're not done yet. I do more for them. I
Right.
put them in the house. I collect first month's rent. I collect the security deposit, which will then be transferred to the homeowner because they'll be taking the ultimate contract portfolio. So we get it all ready for them. First month, tenants in the house. We do a detailed walkthrough inspection with the homeowner and the tenant. That's all documented so that you can go back through and see at time of move out what was there, what was not there. And everything's basically set up for the homeowner. And they get a nice little contract portfolio. Everything's neat and tidy. And from there on out, I'm out of the picture. And they take it from there with the tenant. But they have them placed. They know who's in their home. They've met who's in their home.
Right.
The home has been checked out from the get-go. So the tenant is happy. And knows that, there's no lead-based paint. Mold and mildew disclosures have been taken care of.
I'm a fan of lead-based paint.
You like it?
I love it. I think it's great.
Great parties.
It's warmer, has a special smell.
But, military clause. We get a lot of military here, so they need a separate military clause addendum for those tenants placed that a lot of homeowners doing it themselves might not know. Is there a swimming pool and spa? That's a separate addendum in the contract. Is there a pet? There's a separate pet policy disclosure addendum in the contract. All of these. So a lot of homeowners go and do it themselves and they pull up a PDF and they print it out and they think they've got their contract. And what a lot of my clients and customers, I call the tenants customers, do. Yeah, don't do that. We were signing there move-in day, and they're like, "This is almost like buying a house," and I'm like, "Yes,
if
yes,
done appropriately, it is to protect you and to protect them."
Yeah,
yes, it is.
If you don't have 30 or 40 pages in your rental contract, you're doing something wrong,
and
somebody's not protected, whether it's the homeowner or the tenant.
I actually had somebody. We had somebody come and list a property with us, and they listed two properties with us. One of the properties was a rental property, and when we saw the contract. I ended up calling a buddy of mine who's a real estate lawyer.
Yeah.
And he's an attorney, and I'm like, so what can we do here? He's like, well.
And that comes full circle back to, property managers are expensive. No, it's when you're having to call your attorneys that it gets expensive.
Yep, and it did. It got extremely expensive. We couldn't get they had to sell the property. The person wouldn't leave. I mean, what we ended up doing was. Called some investors. We started calling our kind of sphere of influence and said, "Hey, anybody looking for buy and hold?" We literally sold the property. The guy was a hoarder. He had destroyed the place, refused to leave, refused to let us into the property. Yeah. Like, we started down the process and ended up selling it with him in place. He did pay every month.
Yeah.
So,
I
actually called up a buddy of mine who manages a hedge fund. And I says, "Hey, man, I can't. You want to help us out?"
Yeah.
Picked up. They ended up buying it, and it was just heaven. It was pure heaven.
You got lucky, but
lucky.
What about all those who don't?
I know there's so many that don't.
Yeah.
So I think we talked through pretty much, as far as cost. And if you guys didn't hear this, the second question that I had put on that post from yesterday was, well, are they going to care as much as I do? Did you hear what just happened?
Yeah, it's my job.
It's her job. Now,
it's my job to care.
Not
if I
all
don't care,
property managers are like that.
No.
Right?
No, there are those out there that kind of, they do the real estate, they do the property management, and some do it, very well. They have assistants on them, they're good to go. But I am with Village Property Management and have decided to completely focus on just the rental market and rental property.
I would say most. I would say most property managers are not very good.
Well, as a real estate agent, you deal with quite a few, so you might have better.
If you're watching this and you're a property manager and you're getting mad at me, I'm not talking about you. I'm not unless you know you're no good. I mean, then I am. I'm talking about you. So since we already talked about I guess the answer is they won't care about it as much as I do. I believe that is not true if you pick the right person. So maybe the right question should be, how would somebody find somebody like you? If somebody was looking for a good property manager, which I know you are, what would somebody do, or how would they find that person? How would they know that it's a good property manager? How should they search to find you?
Well, one of my last ones was just kind of a cold call, and she found me, and she was doing it properly. I think she was interviewing face to face several property managers here in town. And meeting with them, because I think you do get a sense and a feel, not email, not phone, you get face to face. And she had me out to her home so I could look over it. I could give her, my opinions on things, replacing some things, getting it renter ready, I call it. But she interviewed face to face, and she asked additionally, could I speak to some of your current or past homeowners that you've helped? And I said, absolutely. And I said, as soon as I get back, I'll email you names and numbers. I'd okayed it with them. And she got to call and speak to some homeowners and how the process went, so they could fill her in on, I was left in the dark, or I was filled in every way, or here's how it's gone. I've used Lauren 2 times. I've only used her once just recently. So I gave her, a couple. But I would do that. It's like shopping for a car. It's like shopping for anything. You do your research. You do some interviews. You are hiring someone, so you have to play the employer. So you need to have an interview.
I say that,
and then ask for the way I would if I were screening a tenant for you. I want to talk to your current and previous landlord. So I want to talk to some of your current and previous clients.
That was a gold nugget, folks. Look, I tell people all the time. I hear it. When you're talking about an asset, hundreds of thousands of dollars, unless you live in like Montana, it's like $5,000, right?
Even then, that's someone's home.
Right, $100,000, major asset. And I hear it all the time, especially when it comes to real estate agents and how they pick somebody. It's like, well, I was just looking around and saw this person, called them up and just said, come and do my house.
Yeah. Their ad looks spiffy.
That's crazy. That's insane. You wouldn't do that for a car.
No,
you wouldn't. No. You're so busy looking at the GMOs and what's in your bananas, but you won't figure out for your house. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
The gold nugget. This is what I got from hearing what she just said. At a minimum, you should be talking to multiple people and interview at least 3 people. Here's the thing: people that are really good. She's really good. We're really good. I know. I tell people. I have a buddy of mine. He's like, you shouldn't tell people to interview multiple agents. You shouldn't do that. I do.
Go right on
I do all the
ahead.
time. You know why? Because if you interview us and you interview 2 or 3 other people, you're gonna go with us anyways. You're gonna go with her anyways. You know why? Because she's good, and you're gonna be able to see the difference.
Well, you're gonna feel comfortable.
Well,
that's what I say. I want you to feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable about this, you don't belong doing rental. Go ahead and let's find you a nice agent, and we'll help sell your home right now. That won't be me. I'll refer it out to a wonderful agent. I know several, and go from there, because I want you to feel comfortable 100% of the way with every step. And so I bring them in, and I think one of the last ones that I brought into the office, a homeowner. We sat there and chatted 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Every single little question, every little caveat. Well, what about landscaping? What if they have a dog and they need to bring in a dog or a fence, dog run, fencing? We have a pool. Do we need to do anything about that? Should we call our homeowner's insurance and tell them about certain dog breeds? I mean, every little thing. And I went and answered them. I like answering them. Every once in a while, I learn something too. you have to look something up, you know, just honest. But if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you shouldn't be doing it. And I'm not going to push anybody ever into renting their home or property if they don't feel comfortable with me, if they don't feel comfortable with the process, and they don't feel good about it.
Right on. So with that, we're going to button it up because I keep saying it like every time I do a video. We're going to keep it to 10 minutes. We're going to keep it to 10 minutes, and now here it is. It's like almost 20, almost, it's been a minute. So how do people find you? How can people find you?
vpmhomes.com. Again, Village Property Management. Phone number 760-522-7917.
What about Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
Yes, vpmhomes.com Facebook page. Anybody out there looking for rentals, we always post our ads immediately as soon as they're live and online to our Facebook page so that the followers get the first dibs. So anybody looking, you know.
Do you have a mailing list by chance or anything else like that?
No, not yet. Not having to. Everything's just kind of online. Everyone can go to the websites. You can fill out an application online. You can pay your rent online from our website once you're hooked up. You can pay your application fee with your, you know.
So everything's right there.
Yeah. I love to meet face to face, but if you're busy, you're out of state, moving to San Diego, and you're starting to look ahead of time for a rental, like so many are, especially the military.
Do you help people find rentals? Now, see, now this could turn into, like, I'm telling you, I need to start doing this. Like, this could turn into 3 or 4 episodes.
Yes, I do FaceTime tours. A lot of the last 2 that I have closed have been out-of-state U.S. Navy divers coming from Pensacola and somewhere else in Florida. I forget off the top of my head. And we did it. They called, and they were so sweet and so innocent, and they just asked, do the pictures look like the home? And because so many tenants come and find that the home, it isn't even the same home, I've heard, let alone in the same condition or what they're seeing. And I said, yes, the pictures look like the home. Would you like a FaceTime tour? I'll show you what it looks like right now. And it looks just like the pictures. Probably do like
Facebook Live.
Yes, exactly. And so I did a tour, and they fell in love, and they put in the application, and that was our winner.
Very cool.
That's who the homeowner was happy with.
So there it is. I'm going to make sure I put your information in there as well.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and post this up today. And eventually, you know, what I need to do is start like breaking up some of these things.
Yeah.
So it's like only 10 minutes.
It's a whole monster.
We could hang out for an hour.
Yeah, let's talk about how we can help tenants now.
Yeah, so maybe would you like to come back in another time?
Sure.
Okay,
anytime.
Cool. We'll set it up and
we'll help.
You know, so do me a favor, like, share, comment, ask a lot of questions. She'll be checking it out also on the Real Estate Blitz. So, you know, she can reply back to you directly. I can reply back to you. But like, share, comment, get it out there to everybody. Real Estate Blitz, we appreciate you. And we'll see you later. All right, have a good one. Bye.